Hey guys, welcome back. Part two of tonight's ramble. What is today's date? This is This is the second of February, 2014. Oh my goodness, we were talking about overpaying, and listen, nobody wants to overpay for anything. But when you put things in perspective, what a knife is really worth, forget about the emotional attachment that you may have. When you're going to take that amount of money, look around and see what's really available. If you're going to spend $1,500 on a knife that was really $800 when it was made, you could take that $1,500 and buy a knife that's really worth $1,500. It'll serve you better in the end. At least that's the way I look at it. And then every now and then I like to go back to something inexpensive. The Mini Division. These things are going to be shipping in the next couple of weeks. Feel very fortunate to have gotten the very first one of Jason's prototypes. This thing is incredible, man. And for the money he's charging, this is definitely going to be a pretty much a go-to knife for me. It's not a hard use knife. It's a very thin hollow ground blade. Very, very fragile tip. It goes down almost like a needle. But for regular EDC, it's going to be fantastic. Still loving the shit out of my Elishewitz. That Omega M5, number one. Look at that grind. And you know what? Allen's always got the right prices, man. This was not a $1,500 knife. There are so many makers out there that would see their knife just like this with the same kind of components go for that much money. I mean, look at this. Custom pivot. Custom detent inlays into the titanium, custom thumb stud. I mean, the guy does incredible work, and this is all done by hand. This is not CNC or water jet or any smart machine. He's literally doing all of this by hand. That's the craftsmanship you want to pay for. Great action, smooth as butter. Smoother than a Sebenza, believe it or not. You don't get in trouble for flicking it. No, let's not keep perpetuating that friggin' rumor. Ugh. Even a nice custom pocket clip. Does such a good job. And he's a nice guy. It's the kind of guy you want to spend money with. All right, I alluded to an announcement on one of my last videos. So there's a big announcement coming. I'm not ready to do it today, but I will let a little bit more out of the bag. I've decided to finally do something about what's going on in the industry. And one man is not going to change everything or may not even make a discernible difference, but I'm going to do my best to unify the industry as much as I can with the collectors and the makers and the retailers. And I'm hatching a little plan, and I've got some people on board with me, which I'll be announcing in about 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm going to try to make a difference as best as I possibly can because I like to give back to the community as much as I can. I've learned so much from so many of you out there, fellow collectors, makers, retailers. And I think we have such a wonderful and harmonious community here, as long as you stay off the forums. That's just a breeding ground for drama. And I'm not saying any particular forum is bad. It's any forum where anybody collects anything. When you're a collector, you have a passion for what you're doing. So you're going to carry that passion out whether you're right or wrong in whatever argument crops up. That's why I stay out of that bullshit. We have such a fantastic community, and I want to do my part to try to give back. So if you're a dealer and you've been really capitalizing on the new wave of collector that has come out and driven the prices up, the guys that'll, I'll pay anything, just sell it to me. And you guys realize that, especially with certain makers. That time is coming to an end if I have any way to do anything about it. And I am going to try. And it's not because I don't like dealers. God, no. I'm going to be doing a lot to support the good dealers that are out there on the internet. Guys like Arizona Custom Knives, Julian Ryan, Blade HQ, North to South Knives. They're really good guys. And I'm not saying you shouldn't take advantage of, I don't want to say take advantage, you shouldn't make a little bit extra. You know, listen, you come across, let's say it's a Southard. An $1,100 Southard like I have in my hand. These would go about $3,500, maybe a couple dollars more. And there are a couple of dealers that if they were to get their hands on something like this, you know, like we've seen with the Mayos recently, that's probably the biggest hot topic right now. And they would take this and they would buy it unconditionally for that $1,100 or overpay and pay $1,500, $1,800 and then go around and sell it for $3,500. Listen, everybody should make a profit in business. That's why you're in business. But you can't profit that much because the customer gets wise and they get tired of it. One day they're just going to stop. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Because it is going to come to a stop at some point, just naturally. It may take forever, but naturally that bubble is going to burst. People are going to go, really, $3,500 for an $800 Mayo? The dude's still alive. He's still making knives. They're not, you know, really easy to get, but it's not like impossible. You can get him to make you a knife too if you know the right way to approach him. So why would I give you $3,500 for a knife that I could buy for $800? Or I could buy from another collector for $1,500 and they're making money like a bandit. Dealers shouldn't be doing that shit. They're taking advantage of the passion that we have. A lot of makers aren't fond of it. We know the collectors aren't fond of it. It's really hard to put a lasso on that and kind of reel it back in. Dear God, we're seeing it with production knives now too. I mean, not the one in my hand. I like playing with this one. We're seeing it with certain production knives. Holy shit, man. Just crazy. Anything that's limited or hard to obtain, yeah, there's going to be a premium charge for it. You might pay double. When you start paying 5 times the amount of money that it was ever worth, it's the collector that gets screwed in the end. Especially if it's the type of collector that's investing. And the guys that will just shell out any amount of money to get something, that is the investor type. If they paid $1,800 for this knife, they do expect to get a return on their investment at some point, short term or long term. And the point is, in 5 years, there's no way in hell this is ever going to go for the money they paid for it. You know, this is not going to happen. It's happened before, and it's going to happen again. So do we let it go through its natural cycle and let that happen, or do we do something about it? It's easy for people to say, oh, I'll speak with my wallet. Yeah, but you know as well as I do, when that maker gets that dream knife that you have been pining for, maybe it's a GTC Plasma, maybe it's a Mayo Dr. Death Jr. Flipper, maybe it's a Jeremy Marsh Vanquish. You're going to go, well, I did say that, but he's got the knife I really want, and I can afford it, or I could sell off a couple of knives and, you know, make it worth my while. My buddy did that. I won't mention his name. I mentioned him before in a video regarding the same thing. You know, he jumped on a Mayo. He paid $3,600 for an $800 Mayo. That was routinely going for under $2,000 within a couple of months prior to him buying that. He didn't like the knife as much as he thought he would for the amount of money he paid, so he was very lucky and got out from under it and didn't lose any money. And then he started looking. He watched my Stan Wilson video again. And then I sent him a link to show him that non-flipper flipper. I said, dude, that's what that level of money buys you, not 2 pieces of titanium and a blade. It buys you innovation. It buys you parts that are inside that knife that you will never see, that are all hand-rubbed and polished. It'll buy you, you know, it's like you look at a Cadillac CTS-V, it's $75,000 and it's worth every penny. It's a badass car. But if somebody turned around and tried to sell it for $200,000, fuck you, I'm going to go buy a Bentley for that because the Bentley's actually worth that. There is that level greater of work. It's a hand-built car. There are things in that car that will never be in a Cadillac because it could never fit into the budget. That doesn't make the Cadillac a bad car. It doesn't make it garbage. But it's priced $130,000 less for a reason. Or $125,000 less for a reason. And he put down an order with Stan Wilson. And I said, dude, when you get that, you're finally going to understand. You're going to see what the real difference is. And it's going to ruin you. That doesn't mean you're not going to be able to buy a knife like this and you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to. But you're not going to put this on the level of a knife like that. You know, the Grahams are outrageous on the secondary market as well. But not that outrageous yet. It's ebbs and flows. You know, it really is. Mayo is the hot thing right now, and in 6 months, the prices will start coming down a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to fall through the floor very, very soon. But I don't think you're going to be getting, $3,500 for a, Dr. Death flipper. I don't think that's going to happen in 6 months. We'll see. Maybe it'll take a year. So, like I said, I will be making an announcement here on my YouTube and on my Instagram very soon, in the next couple of weeks, announcing what I feel is something rather incredible and something that's never been done in this industry before. And we'll see how it works. Another cool announcement, while I'm talking about announcements, I was able to have a little chat with Ron Best the other day. Now, you guys that have been watching all of my videos, or a lot of my videos, have heard me mention Ron Best in the same breath as Joe Cayos and Michael Walker as being pretty much the best there is. This is a guy that makes $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 knives. And I'm still a bit in shock, but he is going to send me one of his next creations when he gets it done, to allow me to do a guest blade review on it. And I gotta tell you, I'm nervous. It's like I almost don't want to open the box and breathe onto that knife. I mean, when you're talking knives of that level, wow. And if you've ever wondered, what the hell would ever make a knife worth $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, you're going to find out. I'm going to do my best to describe everything and explain why it is what it is. When you're talking about a knife that you have 20 or 30 hours worth of work into versus a knife you have 800 hours into, oh yeah, there is a big difference. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are as well. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I almost feel like I have to wear like white gloves, like when you go into an expensive jewelry store and they hand you, that $100,000 Patek Philippe. They've got the white gloves on so they don't get any of the oils from their skin onto the watch when they present it to you. I almost feel like I should be doing that. I just don't have that degree of class, I don't think. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. This is part 2. If you're wondering where did this conversation come from, you dropped in the middle of it, buddy. Go back to part 1. Don't be an ass. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I had to talk about tonight. So thank you guys for watching. As always, it's always fun to just kind of sit out here, and this is like my therapy. It's fun. I don't go to a therapist. I don't have to do that because I have you guys. I'm laying on the couch in front of you. Stop it, you perverts. I'm fully dressed. Laying on the couch in front of you and kind of pouring all this shit out for no particular reason. Hopefully, you guys feel the same way that I do. And hopefully, if you're reaching that speed bump where you're like, I really love knives and I've always loved collecting them, but there's something lacking for me right now. I'm not as excited as I was 6 months ago. Push through it and get past to that next level. And and that may be what it takes. It may take going from a $500 knife, save up for a little bit longer and buy that $1,000 knife. You're buying those $1,000 knives, stop for a while, sell off a few, stick back a few extra bucks, and buy a $3,000 knife. And enjoy what that next level brings to you, because it's going to bring to the table something different than what you've been experiencing previously. And it is fun. It really is. All right, guys, I'm out of here for right now. Thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you on the next video.